Welcome to the Specs Howard School of Media Arts virtual visit. Tonight we will take you on a virtual tour of our facility, curriculum, and services. We'll also be explaining how our classes are currently being delivered this fall. Someone from each department is available to answer your questions in real time. All you have to do is enter them into the chat box and we will try to give you an immediate response. Specs Howard staff speaking without masks are practicing proper social distancing. Finally, at the end of our visit together, you will learn how you can enroll in our 2020 or 2021 programs with our new contactless enrollment process. Let's get started. Please welcome your host for this evening, Chris Cruz.
Hey everyone, my name is Chris Cruz. I am a proud Specs Howard graduate from the class of RTV 1202, and I've spent the last 18 years working on the air as a radio DJ all over the country, like 98.7 amp radio here in Detroit, 94.1 KMPS in Seattle, and I'm now part of the nationally syndicated Throwback Nation Radio, which I actually do out of my home studio here in the Detroit area. So here at the school, I have kind of two roles. I am an admissions advisor, so I talk to prospective students about what life at Specs Howard would be like, my experience, see if they'd be a good fit for the school, and I'm also the high school advisor, and what that means is I spend a lot of my time talking to high school students, parents, counselors, teachers, educators about what a future for that student at Specs Howard could look like. So let's check out what tonight's going to look like for you guys. So tonight we're going to meet with some of your instructors here at the school. We'll talk about the curriculum of our 3 different courses here at Specs Howard. We're going to visit with financial aid and career services, both departments. We'll speak with some other Specs Howard graduates like myself. And make sure you don't duck out early because at the end we're going to talk about a special scholarship opportunity that you might qualify for. So first I want to cover one of the most frequently asked questions about coming to school at Specs Howard. Can I get financial aid? And the answer is yes, financial aid is available for those who qualify. And to dig into that deeper, I want to throw it over to Angela Burt, our financial aid director.
Thanks, Chris. My name is Angela Burt, and I'm the director of the financial aid department. And I'm here today to just talk a little bit more about the financial aid process. Financial aid is educational expenses, and they can come in the form of grants and loans. And here at Specs Howard School, students can apply for federal Pell Grant funding, as well as federal SEOG funding, and federal direct loans, meaning subsidized, unsubsidized, and plus loans. I don't think it's a hard process to apply for financial aid at Specs Howard School because the students can go online, complete the FAFSA form. Once you complete the FAFSA form, a financial aid advisor will contact you. And if you're having trouble completing the form online, we even have it set up where you could come in or even possibly have a Zoom meeting, or we can even do it via telephone. So I think we have different options so students don't have to sit at home and be frustrated. The financial aid department at Specs is here to help you. I think it's a myth that goes around that you can apply for financial aid during certain times of the year. Here at Specs Howard School, you're applying for federal financial aid funding. So you're able to do that year-round, just like our classes start year-round. So the financial aid process can be done at any time of the year. We are unique in so many ways. First of all, I have an awesome staff here to help serve our students and parents. We're excited to have you come to school. We're here to help you in every way and every aspect of the financial aid process, which means you don't have to sit at home and be frustrated. Our financial aid department is here to answer questions, whether you're the type of person that needs in-person financial aid to handle that process, or whether you need to do it via Zoom or telephone. That's what makes us unique. We have more than one way to complete the financial aid process, and we're here to hold your hand during that whole process. A person can qualify for direct loan funding, subsidized and unsubsidized, and that has nothing to do with your credit. So no, you do not have to have good credit in order to apply for the financial aid process. Yes, Specs Howard School does accept tuition assistance, but that's something that you would have to pursue on your own from your employer. You'd have to contact your human resource department at work to find out if you're eligible for tuition assistance, and also make sure that it applies to our programs here at the school. And if you're a dependent student, which means that your parents carry you on their health insurance, then your parent would have to contact their human resource department to see if they offer tuition assistance for dependents. I just want you to know that if you have any questions regarding a possible unique situation, or if you think your situation is unique, you can always give us a call here at Specs Howard School. We are here to help you. Thank you guys. And Chris, hey, I'm turning it back over to you.
Thanks, Angela. So the Specs Howard School of Media Arts was formed back in 1970, meaning we celebrated our 50th anniversary this year, by a guy by the name of Specs Howard. Specs Howard's actually a real person who exists, and he started the school back in 1970 for creative people like me who wanted to get into broadcasting but didn't really know where to start. And for years we've been inducting Specs students into the Specs Howard Hall of Fame, and this year we have 50 new inductees. So everybody you see got their start at Specs Howard just like I did. Back in 1970 when the school opened, our main focus was broadcasting, and we still teach broadcasting to this day. To tell you more, here's Erica McCauley.
My name is Erica McCauley. I wear a couple different hats at Specs. I am the equipment room coordinator and the Learning Resource Center go-to person. Well, you know, at a traditional college, you're not going to have microphones and cameras and big boards to be playing on. So, you know, you get to come here, you get to be hands-on, and you almost get to see what you're producing right away, or hear what you're producing right away. So that's kind of cool to hear and feel what you're doing like on day one. Oh my goodness, you learn so much being a BMA student. You're learning, you know, all your microphone techniques, you're learning how to do editing, but you're also learning how to run this huge board. So in the morning, when you're listening, you got all these sounds going on, and you're gonna learn how to push all those buttons and use all of those. You're going to learn how to use your voice when you're doing voiceovers in commercials. You're gonna learn how to edit vocals and edit sound. You're gonna learn how to go out on location and do remotes for a radio station. You know, we're gonna teach you that all right here before you go out into the real world. So many different aspects of broadcasting you're gonna learn here at Specs Howard. I would say I think the students love being in the Specs radio. I mean, they're learning all this stuff the first couple of semesters, and then they get into like an actual like internet radio station, and they're putting all those tools together. So I think they get really excited about it because they finally feel like they're doing something on the radio. I think the most rewarding part about being an instructor is just connecting with your students. When they realize that, yeah, they could be actually on a radio station one day in their hometown, it puts a pretty big smile on their face and makes a pretty big impression on them. And I just love seeing them light up when they realize what they can actually put their skills and talents to. I think what makes them successful is knowing that all their hard work is eventually going to pay off. I mean, if you're putting it in, it's going to show to the people that are around you. You know, you can't just walk into a radio station and be like, I'm going to be a star. No, you have to do the work, and I love seeing stories on Facebook or Instagram of my students starting their first job, because you never know what it's going to be. They could be doing some pretty cool promotions, working for a promotion team. They could be starting on a morning show or doing weekends, overnight, somewhere across the country. So it is super cool to see where those personalities take them. So I got to tell you a little bit about the radio side of the broadcasting program. Now Nick, he's going to tell you about the video side of the broadcasting program.
My name is Nick Wisniewski. I'm a broadcast media arts instructor at Specs Howard School of Media Arts. So the difference between learning in the broadcast media arts program versus a traditional college is night and day in my experience. It's interesting because I'm not a product of the school. I didn't go to Specs Howard. I went to your traditional college, and my hands-on learning was almost nothing. We barely touched cameras. We barely touched computers for editing. It was all a lot of theory and writing. At Specs, we're gonna get your hands on cameras within 2 weeks. And it's not just that you see them and touch them one time. You're going to consistently have your hands on cameras for your entire time here. What students learn in the BMA program is what's necessary to get a job out in the broadcast industry. The broadcast industry tends to be personality driven, so we're going to get you in front of that camera real early on in the program so you can get a feel for your comfort levels, and you're going to understand that this isn't just something that somebody's natural at. This is a skill just like any other skill that we're going to teach you. Also in that first semester of the broadcast media arts program, we're going to teach you behind the camera. We're going to get you to get your hands on these ENG cameras that are every bit the same as what you're going to see news shooters and sports shooters out there using. After that, we will get you behind the computer, where you're going to learn how to edit. You're going to learn the basics of nonlinear digital editing so that you can understand how to tell a story visually. We're also going to teach you Photoshop, so a little bit of graphic design in there, and then production as well. We need you to understand how to tell a story visually, how to communicate with others, and how to get your story across properly. So all of those things are things that you'll learn in the broadcast media arts program. So for me, the most rewarding part of being an instructor is seeing students succeed. Not every student succeeds quickly or right away. Some takes a little bit more time, some get it just like that. Either way, it's fun to work with. Either way, it's fun to see how it happens. Everybody has a different path to that success. And again, everybody has a different timetable to that success. But either way, it's fun and it's interesting, and man, it never gets old. My favorite aspect of teaching the Broadcast Media Arts program is also the same as my favorite thing of working in the broadcast industry. And that's that every day is a little bit different. It's not going to be the same thing day in and day out. Each day there are different jobs to do, each day there are different stories to tell, each day there are different students, there's different learners, there's different type of learners, there's different obstacles to overcome. So it's not doing the same thing day in, day out. So many people come to this school because they've already got a job that is the same thing day in and day out. Students that come here that are always engaged, that they're excited, that they realize that there are going to be difficulties and there are going to be challenges to overcome. Those are the students that do the best in this school. Those are the students that do the best in this business because they want it.
So before we move on to our next program, I wanted to show you guys inside our equipment room for a second. So to get you more information, here's Tim Peterson.
Thanks, Chris. The one thing that is going to improve any skill is practice. It doesn't matter what you're trying to learn. If you're not practicing, you're not going to improve. At Specs, we have a great lending system to get equipment into your hands. We have 6 different types of cameras, which allows the BMA program to learn up to 3 different cameras, and the DMA program to learn up to 4 different cameras. We've had the opportunity to increase and improve our inventory of cameras, LED lighting, and digital audio recorders, which we are all excited about. And because of that, our students will be learning on the very same equipment professionals are dying to get their hands on. Don't forget to stop by the equipment room and check out our production gear.
Thanks, Tim. So one of the programs that uses lots of the equipment you just saw is our Digital Media Arts program. So for all you content creators out there, here's Steve Straz to tell you more about Digital Media Arts.
My name is Steve Straz, and I'm a Digital Media Arts instructor at Specs Howard School of Media Arts. What sets the Digital Media Arts program apart from courses at a college is that you're not learning history. We're not teaching you math. It is a fast track where you basically get a lot more hands-on, a lot more rapidly than you would at a college, and certainly less time-consuming. The Digital Media Arts program is a fast track for the type of student that wants to learn the basics of video production. We start with scripting, storyboarding, then we get into using the camera and of course ultimately editing and being able to upload your productions and creations and put them online. But it's also a good avenue for those that don't want to be in front of the camera. It's not a talent-based program. A lot of what you're doing is working behind the scenes. And the other cool thing about the second semester digital video production class is that it becomes so routine that they learn the pre-production, production, and post-production phase. It really is a good course to acclimate them to what they're going to experience when they get out in the actual real world. The most rewarding part of being an instructor, and the reason why I took on a teaching job here at Specs many years ago, is to see the light bulb come on, to see that spark of creativity. And not only that, but to be able to share everything, all the knowledge that I've learned, and be able to pay it forward basically to our future. For somebody that is considering the Digital Media Arts program, but is maybe on the fence, not sure if it's the right fit for them, I would say that, if this is your passion, follow your passion. I've taught many grads that have gone on to successful careers in this industry, and I think what makes them successful ultimately is their diligence to stick with it, and hopefully somewhere along the way, myself and the other instructors here at Specs were able to inspire them. Okay, that's just a little bit about the Digital Media Arts program. If you have any additional questions, you can put them in the chat box below. And now we're going to send it back to Chris.
Thanks, Steve. So let's talk about graphic design. In this program, we're going to loan you a MacBook Pro for the year, loaded with the Adobe software you need to finish all your projects. To find out more about graphic design, let's talk to Nancy Cohen.
My name is Nancy Cohen, and I am a graphic design instructor at the Specs Howard School of Media Arts. The graphic design program at Specs Howard is very much a hands-on program. You will get one-on-one time with your instructor every week. You will always have somebody, you will always have a way to reach them, either by message and sometimes every now and then by phone. We are very responsive. We get back to you quickly. We give honest help, and we're there for you when you get into a little bit of trouble. The situation is such that anybody can design a logo. The software that we have is available to the general public. Anybody can have a fluke and design a great logo one time. But that's not what makes a real professional designer. What makes a real professional designer is someone who understands the process of design. And that's what we really try to emphasize as you go through this program. We want you to understand that you first come up with a lot of ideas and you make a lot of doodles. In fact, if you were someone who got in trouble in high school for doodling when you were supposed to be listening, you belong here because we want you to doodle. You're going to do a lot of different ideas, then you're going to start narrowing them down, putting them on the computer, tweaking them, honing them, deciding between what works best, working with the rest of the class to come up with better ways to show your ideas. You're going to learn how to communicate and then ultimately how to come up with a great product for every assignment. Well, I think any instructor will tell you the most rewarding part is when a student comes to you frustrated and upset and you're able to show them how easy it really is for them and how much they really do know, even though they don't think they do. And then they have that aha moment, and that's kind of what makes us want to come to work here. My favorite aspect is working with the students one-on-one and having those breakthrough moments, but also just being able to guide them through taking their ideas and seeing that they really do have good ideas and they just need a little bit of time working on them. I think the most successful students are the ones who don't give up, the ones who continue to work on, change, to say, what if I tried this or what if I tried that? So it's that exploration, that curiosity that makes for a really good designer, especially when they leave here. That's a little bit about the graphic design department. I hope that if this is something that you're interested in, you will consider joining our program. We would love to have you. Now I'm going to send you back to Chris.
Thank you, Nancy. That sounds amazing. So it goes without saying that the last couple of months have been absolute insanity for everybody. I'm sure you and your family have been struggling. And us here at the school, things have been a little weird for us as well. But I am happy to report that we are going to start reintroducing students into the building so they can get that hands-on experience that you come to Specs Howard for in the first place. My team and I are taking every precaution possible. Everything's being sanitized constantly. All of our classes are being socially distanced, and that's being enforced. And to tell you more about how all that's going to work during a pandemic coming to school, here's our Director of Education, Jeremy Anderson.
My name is Jeremy Anderson, and I'm the Director of Education. So obviously with COVID-19, things are very different. The fortunate part for us was we were a hybrid school before, so we're half online and half resident. Now in this world, we're fully online. But the day-to-day learning is still the same. We're attending classes during the same scheduled time that you always sign up for. And now as we move into the different stages that we're going through during COVID, we are now looking at gear and use of labs and use of the studio equipment and things like that. So each of our classes are very different. Generally speaking, all classes will get your devices, get training within our Canvas learning management system, and come and be prepared to be successful as a student in that first day. From there, a lot of the classes are delivered via online lecture, but as it progresses in through the semester, you may find times that we've moved into the stage 2 where you can come into the building and get your gear. So every class is very different in that system, but generally speaking, it's going to be getting the gear and taking online classes in that first semester for the most part. So one of the things about this process that we're going through now is that every student is coming at it very differently. Many students are excited by the possibility of getting gear again. Many students are excited to see a face again. But it's a very different situation and everyone's going to respond differently. And no matter how you feel about this system, we're designing assignments that are going to accommodate you in your personal situation. So if you don't feel safe coming in, or you do, we have something that will accommodate you. Safety starts first and foremost at home. If you have been out of the state in 14 days or you are feeling symptomatic, we ask that you don't come here to the building. However, it starts at the front door. We have the door locked. We ask that students make appointments to come into the building. We have screening stations set up where we take temperatures and ask various questions to come into the building. Because we are making appointments, we are simply keeping the class sizes low. So all classes have been modified to include 6 or less students at any given time. And we're gonna keep the classrooms cleaned and keep everything sanitary at all times, anytime a student touches any type of gear, whether it goes out or comes back in. We are always watching and closely monitoring what's happening out there in the state of Michigan with the situation regarding COVID. And as we progress through the different stages, currently in stage 2 of our return to the classroom plan, we're always monitoring and understanding that we may have to go back or forth depending on what's happening. Safety is our utmost important thing that we're going to be able to monitor. And we want to be able to make sure that every student that comes into the building is safe, as well as staff as well. So we're always watching, we're always looking into the situation, we're always making sure that whatever is happening outside, we're modifying one of our stages to accommodate that plan. We're always changing, we're always evaluating, and we're always going to keep everyone up to date on the latest and greatest changes. So now, back to Chris.
Thanks, Jeremy. It's also super cool just to see students back in the building again. I love that. So for the last 50 years, Specs Howard has been training media professionals. That's what we do. But what we also do is help them find jobs and get their career in media started. So to find out more about that, here's our Director of Career Services, Nancy Shiner. Nancy?
Hi, I'm Nancy Shiner, Director of Career Services. We like to work with students as soon as orientation. We want to get to know you. We want you to pop into our offices. We do virtual Zoom calls. We want to get to know you to figure out what you're looking to do, because a year goes by awfully quickly, and we want to make sure you're set and focused on your job path. We have quite a few services available for our students. While our students are in school, they're eligible for internship opportunities, one-on-one guidance and counseling. As you continue to go through your program, we have a career prep class in the last semester, which deals with resume writing, interviewing skills, job techniques. We're kind of preparing you for that job when you graduate. And then upon graduation, you're eligible to use our services for various job opportunities. We also have Facebook groups that we post our job leads in, and we just work one-on-one with each student, trying to figure out what you're looking to do, and we help you through the process. It's a real partnership here. Internships are so important in this business for a couple of reasons. It's something you can put on your resume, shows that you have some experience prior to graduation, and it's a great time to network with industry people and to get a feel for what you like to do. You know, you may say, you know, I want to be on air, and then you intern at a TV station and you're like, wow, it's really cool to work in a production room, or vice versa with graphic design or digital media. So if you can take the time to do an internship, we highly recommend that opportunity for you. We work with each individual student as far as job placement opportunities. No job is guaranteed in any line of work. It's up to the graduate to go out and sell themselves in the interview. What we do for you on our end is we help you network with employers. We'll make phone calls. If you find a job that you think is going to be so awesome for you, you can call me and say, hey, can you give them a call and see if they'd be willing to take my resume? So we are in partnership with our graduates to assist you with finding work in the industry. Because of our history and being around for 50 years, we know a lot of employers. We get a lot of job opportunities that come through our doors, so we are always passing those opportunities on to our graduates. But again, it's going to be up to you to sell yourself in the business in an interview situation and rock it and start that opportunity. We work with so many employers. You know, over the years, we've expanded. We were just a broadcast school way back when, so it was all radio and television. Now we've expanded to corporate America. We deal, you know, we have employers such as Quicken Loans, Channel 4, Channel 7, all the local radio stations, iHeartMedia. We deal with real estate companies now because they're now doing virtual tours and using drones to shoot video. So As far as graphic opportunities, every employer looks for a website. Everybody's looking to market their business. So, you name it. That's why I always recommend to a student, if there's something you want to do and there's a company you feel like you would be a good fit for, let us help you network yourself and get into that opportunity. Let us make those phone calls for you because you'll never know where you'll find that next opportunity. Be open-minded and just go for it. And those opportunities will come your way and you'll have a successful career in the media industry. And now I'd like to turn the presentation over to Jennifer Michaels, our career instructor. She has a great group of graduates that are here to share their stories and experiences with all of you. Take it away, Jen.
Welcome, everyone. Welcome to the Specs Howard School of Media Arts virtual visit. My name is Jennifer Michaels, and I'm going to be your host today. And I'd like to take a moment to introduce or have our grad panel introduce themselves. So how about Naila? We'll do ladies first. If you could please let us know what your name is and where you're currently working.
Hi, I'm Naila. I currently work at Quicken Loans as an instructional designer.
Fantastic.
And I graduated from Specs last year from graphic design.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, thank you so much for being here with us today. We sure appreciate having you here. And next on the list would be Justin Valentine. So Justin, if you could tell us where you're working and when you graduated.
Right now, I'm event coordinator at 105.1 The Bounce and a play-by-play sports broadcaster for U of M Dearborn Sports. And I graduated way back when in 2015.
Okay, well, welcome. Thank you so much for joining us today. And last but certainly not least is Benny White. And Benny, take it away. Let us know, where are you at today and how long ago did you graduate?
Hey, I'm Benny White. I'm with the City of Oak Park. I've been here for about 5 years, and I was in the DMA 713 course. I think that was like 2015 too, with Justin.
Well, that's awesome. Well, thank you also for joining us today. We certainly appreciate all of you being here and sharing your stories with the potential grads out there who are looking to join us here at Specs Howard School of Media Arts. So I have just a couple quick questions, and you guys feel free to kind of chime in when you'd like to. So one of the questions that we have is, what did you do before you came to Specs Howard? And what were some of the decision-making thoughts for you to decide to come to Specs Howard School of Media Arts and change your career?
For me,
I had. Oh, no, you go.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. The lovely thing of virtual right now. I had a high school radio station that actually I was able to participate in throughout my high school life. And there was Specs Howard signs around the wall, and it was talked about a lot. So that led to me, visiting the school, and it really made a perfect fit for me, an easy decision for me, not even thinking twice to go to Specs Howard.
All right, fantastic. And how about you, Naila?
Well, before Specs Howard, I was working in social work. I got my bachelor's degree at University of Michigan. Woo, woo, go blue.
Hey.
And so on Instagram, on social media, it was this young lady who did graphic design herself, and I loved what she did. But for so long, I wanted to be a graphic designer, but I figured I already got my bachelor's degree. I don't want to go back for another 4-year program. What will I do? So I met someone who went to Specs Howard, and I was so excited because it was a year program, and it was pretty much really not simple, but it was really what's the word for it? I guess simple to get into. It wasn't as difficult as maybe me trying to go to U of M again. It was really going towards my schedule. I can work in the daytime and go to Specs in the evening. So that was perfect. So I was so excited about that. And that was it.
Oh, that's so wonderful. I'm so glad that you had a great experience with our admission process. We do try and make it very easy for people to be able to do their paperwork and the application, and we try to really walk with our potential students through that entire process, just because it can be a little cumbersome sometimes. So I'm so glad that you had such a great experience, and we're so glad that you're now a part of our Specs Howard family. So yay. One of the other questions, and I'm going to stick with you, Naila, if I can. What was the path to getting you to your current position today?
Well, I was in well, first of all, I'm in a Facebook group with Nancy, the career advisor, and she's really hands-on. So I was working again, like I got another social work job even after I graduated from Specs. So I emailed Nancy because I really wanted to pursue a job in graphic design, like I was ready for it. So I took a break from Facebook, but I told Nancy, like, if she gets any job leads, send it to me, and she sent it to me ASAP. So that's one thing I appreciate about Specs Howard is because you guys are really hands-on with giving me job leads. Even my cousin, he went to Specs Howard and he was able to find a job through you guys immediately. So I really appreciated that because even going to U of M, nobody helped me to find a job after U of M. So I really appreciate that about Specs Howard.
Okay, that's great. And Benny, I know that you've had some really great experiences since you've graduated as well, and that you've really worked hand in hand with the Career Services Department as well in some of the positions that you've held. So could you tell us a little bit about how your path has gone and what you've experienced?
Well, it's kind of similar to Naila. I was finishing up my bachelor's at Eastern in communication. And I went to grad school, and as I was in grad school, I just kind of found out that it just wasn't leading to anything, which is something crazy. It's crazy to say, but it was actually not fulfilling, or it didn't seem like it was going anywhere. So I already knew about specs and wanting to get into the industry with video and graphic arts and digital media. I dropped out of grad school and I enrolled right into specs, and it's history from there. I mean, that's why I'm here at Oak Park right now. I'm the video and the cable coordinator. I've been here for going on 5 years, and it was a specs lead. So it got me right through the door.
That's good.
Fantastic.
Is it bad to say that's why you go to specs is for the career placement?
I don't think it's bad to say that at all. We really pride ourselves at helping graduates kind of not only get those entry-level positions, but to also continue on their career path long term. And I think that that's one of the things that makes us really a very special school, is because we do have that hands-on interaction long after the graduation has happened. So,
right.
Justin, how about if you share your experience and let us know kind of what your career path has looked like?
I mean, like they said, it was Specs Howard that led to my career placement, gave me the opportunities, at least showed me the opportunities, and helped me take over from there. One thing with that Specs taught me is they always say connections is good to have, but it's when people remember you for the right reason. They know your name. This is a very tight industry. Everyone's connected on social media. Everybody talks, whether they work for the same company or not. So if you're remembered for the right reason, you're talked about, and you are applying for an internship or a job, and they can look at their connections and they can speak on your name for the right reasons, that's going to help you out a ton. If people can rely on you, and that's something that Specs Howard drilled into me when I was there, because a lot of people get experience with audio editing or video editing or whatever, even before Specs. Specs Howard teaches you how to really hold yourself and carry yourself inside the industry.
Yes, absolutely. And networking is everything. We do know that. But again, you have to have a great reputation. right? And it's all about what you put into it. And if you're doing the job and, like you said, being reliable, people are then going to be trusting you. And I think that's a great thing Specs does. Really instill that into all of our students so that when they become graduates, they do have those professional skills that are necessary to not only land those entry-level positions, but really to make a name for themselves. So kudos to you and congratulations on, well, actually all three of you, congratulations on your career paths so far. We're so excited to have you as a part of the family. Now, what I would like to do next is ask each and every one of you if you can tell me if you've had one of those I made it moments. Okay, so Justin, let's start with you. Have you had an I made it moment, and what was it?
I think the closest that I have to that would probably be the moment I landed my second job, which is the play-by-play job at U of M Dearborn. And it kind of connects to what we just said. I was probably about 6 or 8 months out from my previous internship. I haven't been there for 8 months, hadn't really talked to them too much. I've already moved on. But the producer of that show saw a job opening for this and remembered me. And he gave me a call and said, hey, I know we haven't talked in 6, 8 months, whatever it may be, but there's this job opening. You should go for it. And I ended up getting it. And it was at that moment that I realized that, wow, like they remembered me from 8 months ago. I haven't been there and we haven't talked. And yet I still came top of mind when this job came up, and he went out of his way to call me and help land that job for me. So I think that was a big moment for me.
All right, fantastic. How about you, Benny?
Well, let's say my I made it moment was just getting a phone call. out of Eastern, like, and kudos to Eastern. I loved it. It was a great program. But when you get out of college, I literally filled out about at least 50 applications. And the only person that called me was Home Depot. So I ended up working at Home Depot right out of graduating from college. And I couldn't really believe it. But, you know, you had to do what you had to do. And actually, even before Oak Park, Specs Howard gave me a lead because I was freelancing digital media, doing videos and whatnot. So they actually set me up with an AV company in Livonia where we did some preservation masters, and we did some capturing and reproducing of some old tapes into digital media. So I contracted with that company for 9 months, and then after that is when I got a call from Oak Park. That being my first full-time job, a call was I made it. but I haven't done anything yet. It's much more to go.
That's all right. That's what we tell you too. Reach for the stars, right?
Oh,
so, Naila, do you have a I made it moment?
I feel like I haven't made it yet, but if I have to pick a moment, like this job that I recently got through Specs, it's like, oh, I made it. Because this job, I make like the most I ever made in any social work job. So that felt good. And it just like kind of fell in my lap over COVID when a lot of people are losing their jobs. I was able to get a job, a good paying job that I enjoy. So that could be my made it moment. Also, I do graphic design on the side. So having people wanting me to do their work and coming to me to do like a wedding invitation, I think that says a lot because they appreciate my work. So if I had to choose, both of those would be moments where I guess I made it.
Okay, fantastic. Now, this is the funnest question I think that I have to ask you guys. And I'm going to start with you, Benny, sorry. What is your favorite memory of your time at Specs Howard?
Favorite memory? There's a bunch. I definitely like the group outings where we got to build some camaraderie within the groups. Everybody get to take on a task. Person to be video editing. We had some camera operators, some lighting guys or girls, whatever. And, you know, just getting to pick the locations and go out, chop it up, have fun, and just build and network was one of my favorite moments. But towards the end of graduating from Specs, I was able to get on the Ask Dr. Nandy show. Now, we did our class was in Farmington Hills at that campus on Industrial Road. That I don't think they're there anymore. They're back in Southfield. So at least we got to experience that whole new building and facility, because it was some great times there.
The Dr. Nandy show was an amazing production. And yeah, we were so happy. We had so many of our grads were able to really be a part of that. And I'm glad it was a really great experience for you as well. So thank you for sharing that.
And they gave us a check.
It's never a bad thing.
Right.
Right. Exactly. So Justin, how about you? What was your favorite Specs Howard memory?
I think my favorite memory is how close the entire class would get, because I realized that that was a common thing. At first, when my whole class were all close, I thought it was just us. But then I see on social media, classes ahead of us, classes behind us were the exact same way. And that says a lot about the school, a lot about the instructors, and just the experience we had there. It just automatically drew us all together. You know, we would have so much fun. And one specific fun memory I have to bring up is, again, just how much fun the instructors had with us before, no matter who our instructor was, every day at the beginning of class, as they walk in, I would just throw a little, yeah, and a round of applause. The entire class gives them a round of applause. And then randomly throughout their, you know, as they're going over stuff, randomly round of applause during every class, and everybody was in on it. It was always fun. And that's, I mean, it's a common thing at Specs. Every class automatically just gets so close.
That's wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing that story. And it is a great one. Although I'm not sure if I remember getting a round of applause. No, I'm just kidding.
We'll have to work on that. We'll get you yours, I promise.
And Naila, how about if you share one of your favorite Specs Howard stories?
I think it's the same with me, like just building relationships. I believe me and my classmate got really close. So I think that was like my favorite moment. My group was really diverse. So I think I built relationships with people that I probably would have never became friends with outside my little bubble. So it was nice to meet people that are creative and diverse. And I think that was really good. And being able to like admire other people's work. I think that's my favorite thing about Specs Howard.
Oh, that's so wonderful. Those are all great memories. And Naila, if you had any words of wisdom or words of advice for a potential Specs grad or maybe an up-and-coming graduate, what would that be?
Just let it flow. Don't stress. I think Specs Howard is a great program. Be yourself. I think the most comfortable you are, the more creative you can be. Don't be intimidated and don't compare yourself to other people's work. Be creative and always be willing to learn.
That's great advice. Very great advice. How about you, Justin? What is your advice to the next group of grads?
I think for those going through Specs, I think even if you already have an idea what you want to do, be open to learning it all, because every industry, you'll never know when they're going to cross paths. So it's always good to know even a little bit about something a little outside your comfort zone. And then honestly, once you're in the industry, no matter what level you're at, intern, part-time, whatever it may be, act like whatever you are doing is the most important thing going on at that company. Even if technically it's not, treat it as if it is, because that kind of stuff goes a long way.
Mm-hmm.
All right, excellent. And how about you, Benny? Any words of wisdom or advice that you could share with the next group of grads?
Just follow your dream or your goal. You know, I wanted to be in this industry. I was on a certain path and I switched right up and went right to Specs, and I didn't think about it twice. If you know that there's something that you're out there looking for, and you know Specs has to offer, you know, they offer graphic design, video, web skills, you touch on pretty much everything media, some radio, broadcasting and stuff. So, you know, just follow your heart and use the network. It's a great networking tool. You know, shout outs to Tawana Hurd and Shannon Bennett. Those are two of the instructors or teachers that was there at the time, and they kind of helped me move along. You know, there was even, you know, issues to where like I didn't have a job and I was, you know, looking like, what the is going on? And they kind of kept me level headed. So they did some mentoring and everything. And, you know, you just never know. Just follow your heart and go with it.
That's wonderful. Thank you so much for those words of advice. And it's so true. I think that, you know, regardless if you're in the broadcast media program, the graphic design program, or the digital media program, as long as you just come in and you embrace the program, you do the work, you're going to have fun doing it along the way, and you will truly find great successes. I know that on behalf of myself and all of my coworkers and all of the faculty at Specs Howard, we know that it works. We've been doing this for 50 years, and we have quite a network of individuals, and we're so very happy that each and every one of you are a part of our Specs network and a part of our Specs family. And thank you all so much for being here today. We certainly appreciate your time, and we look forward to seeing all the wonderful, amazing things that you continue to do as you move forward in your careers. So thank you again so much, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you. Bye.
I love hearing those stories. You guys, thanks for sharing. That was really cool. So we're getting toward the end of our virtual visit. If you have any questions, just type them in the chat box below, and me and my staff will address those in real time. Make sure you get your questions answered. And if you know anything about Specs Howard, you know we keep our class sizes really small, and they're filling pretty quickly. So here's a list of classes that still have seats available. We want to let you know tonight about a new limited scholarship opportunity. This is really cool. It's the Specs Howard School of Media Arts COVID-19 Impact Scholarship. And all you need to do to qualify is to write us an essay about how COVID-19 has affected you and how this could help. And this is for any student attending school between September 1st and December 31st of this year, 2020. So you've been watching our virtual visit, and maybe you want to get more information on Specs Howard. Cool, it's really easy. Just go to specshoward.edu/appointment, and you can book an in-person meeting here at the school in Southfield, or we can do an online Zoom contactless meeting. Either way, we'll make sure you get all your questions answered. But if you're ready to enroll right now, cool, here's how you do it. By going to specshoward.edu/enroll, you can do the entire enrollment process from home in your pajama pants if you want. I don't know, I'm not gonna be able to see you, so it doesn't matter. You can do the entire thing at home. Should take about an hour, including the entrance evaluation as part of your admissions process. So that's gonna wrap it up for our virtual visit. If you've got any final questions, throw them in the chat box below. We'll leave that open for a couple more minutes to make sure everyone gets all their questions answered. Again, my name is Chris Cruz, and on behalf of everyone here at Specs Howard and myself, thanks for watching today, and we hope you have a future here at Specs Howard, because that's where I started.